The January 6th committee holds a hearing detailing what Republicans are fearing. Evidence is mounting by the day. Sworn testimony, not tweets or hearsay. Proof positive that Trump's conduct was a blatant attempt to obstruct the lawful transfer of power with multiple efforts every hour. Conspirators they have been named, but yet they claim to be defamed. It's just not common sense, ignoring all this evidence, and yet they stick their heads in the sand, loudly claiming this cannot stand. It's a witch hunt, is what they say, repeating this ridiculous claim each day. Their behavior was beyond the pale, and they should all end up in jail, guilty of a heinous crime. Justice demands they serve time. I wonder what possessed these people to be so obsessed with following a man so inflamed with election fraud, or so he claimed. Common sense fled in disarray, like actors fleeing a bad play. Trump was a man feeling the blues, unable to comprehend that he could lose. And when he so obviously did, of sensible voices he wanted to be rid, and only listened to those who fed his fragile ego, a watershed moment in this country's long life, far worse than wars or previous strife. The country is divided, and much worse. Those who support Trump are averse to listening to the truth. With the ignorance of callow youth, they only see the lies spread by people that they despise. There is no pretense of listening to the evidence, and there never will, especially on the Hill. The DOJ must prosecute these seditionists, these so-called abolitionists. A message must be sent, for none of them will repent their part in this insurrection, this fallacious and dangerous misdirection. Crimes they were committed, encouraged and permitted by an egomaniac and those fools who'd support him even when he drools. I've never been a fan of Trump, a truly dangerous man. It might seem to be perverse, but he is the absolute worst example of the human race. I cannot express my distaste in terms you would not see as absurd. There is not one single word to sum up his place in history, except to go back to prehistory and call him a dinosaur, a loser, much more than sore. The hearings are coming to a close. The would-be emperor has no clothes with which to cover up his crimes, but it is a sign of the times that we must wonder why, despite those who did die, in this attempt to subvert, or should we say pervert, democracy at its core, as well as all the more. Is it too much for us to ask the DOJ to perform the task that they are enjoined to perform, so that perhaps we might reform and the country begin to heal from crimes that were so real, traitors slinking away in the night, doing everything that was not right? There must be prosecution, maybe not execution, but long years behind bars, without a window to see the stars. But here's the thing, a president who wanted to be a king, with an ego knowing no bounds. Bars should now be his surrounds. He should have a number, not a name, with only himself to blame. Merrick Garland, you must, without fail, put all these conspirators in jail. Prosecute to the full extent of the law. That is, after all, what we pay you for. You must not give in to fear, but protect that which you hold dear. And if the crazies take up arms, open up a few new prison farms. Let them break rocks for a decade or two, while their irrational behavior they rue. Copyright Michael Richard, July the 13th, 2022. The January 6th Commission was written and read by Michael Richard.